Good morning or good afternoon from wherever you happen to be joining me from. Hello everyone, my name is ChelseaRoadman and I'm here to give you your top 8 headlines of the day. They range from world news, major news, everything else. Hey Dan, hello. Let's follow each other. Well, let's get to know each other first. Driver 7, how about that? That sounds good to me. Thanks for joining me though. I've got some great headlines for you today. I won't keep you very long, but I'll definitely give you some fodder for your lunch conversations, dinner conversations, water cooler conversations. You're going to be the talk of the town because you're going to have very interesting information to give everyone. Let me just tell you that for sure. All right, you guys, how are you today on this? What is it even today? It's Wednesday. I knew it was August 6th, but what day of the week it is? That I may need to work on. All right, you guys, so let's dive right into it, shall we? I like to give people just a little bit of time to join, but I also want to stay on a good schedule for you guys that are at work who may be joining me. I'm excited to have you here. Thanks for joining. If you guys are here, would you do me a great big favor? Make sure you're following so that you can see this every single day. I give you top really interesting 8 headlines, not the ones that are circulating everywhere that everyone knows about, but really interesting ones. And if you will just swipe right if you're on an iOS device, invite your followers, invite everyone from Twitter and Facebook. If you're on an Android device, swipe up or down and invite those for me. I would really appreciate that because I used to be in broadcast journalism, as you can see, and so this is my own deal though. I get to know you guys, I get to know your opinions, I get to give you my opinions, and I love to hear what you guys have to say. So thank you guys so much for joining. Let's dive right in, shall we? Okay, headline number 1, we're going to go into some major news right here in the States. PayPal has canceled plans to build an operations center in North Carolina because of anti-LGBTQ law. So, that was in our news for the last couple days, and here it comes again. All right, guys. Dan Schulman, PayPal's CEO, announced Tuesday that the company is canceling its plans to create an operations center in Charlotte, North Carolina. The expansion would have brought North Carolina 400 new jobs and a $3.6 million investment from the payment company. That's a report from the Associated Press. Now, if you don't know what PayPal is, it is an electronic service that allows you to pay someone with little to no fee involved depending on what the payment is for. So because they are not signing this contract based on LGBTQ laws and reasons, I think it's going to have some backlash. I'm wondering, I love PayPal. However, this is making me wonder what the company's stance is on that and why it would affect their signing up for a contract with this state or the state with them. So I'm hoping we get some follow-up news on that. So let's move on, you guys, to some world news. So let's zoom out a little bit. Let's take a little road trip, get on our little plane. Let's go to Iceland. So for some world news, Iceland's prime minister resigned after the Panama Papers exposed his offshore financial dealings. Uh-oh. Prime Minister Sigmundur David Gunnlaugsson, as the best way I know how to pronounce it, is accused of concealing millions of dollars in assets in an offshore account company called Wintris. According to the BBC, he bought the company in 2007 but did not declare an interest in it when he entered Parliament in 2009. And now he is denying any wrongdoing by him or his wife. So, as tax season, at least in the States, we're in tax season. When are your taxes due? I hope that you're saying to me that you know they're due on April 18th. It's only a couple Mondays away, you guys. Make sure you're getting them filed. And I hope this reminds you, whatever it is, make sure you claim it, report it, expose it. Just be as honest as you can, you guys. You don't want to get into any trouble like that at all. So, for headline number 3, let's get back on that plane and head back home. Let's see, you see Fox News in my future? Thank you, Sleepwalker. I hope that's a compliment from you. I hope that you like Fox News. Number 3, let's get back on the airplane and head on back home to a little update on some of the politics, politics news. Not my favorite to report, but I gotta let you know what's happening. So here at home, Bernie Sanders and Ted Cruz won the Wisconsin primaries. This is interesting because frontrunners Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump both lost by double digits in decisive victories by the underdog campaigns. Sanders continues his surge while Cruz utilized the state's GOP establishment infrastructure to capitalize, hey mama, on Trump's disastrous week. Very interesting that we have now had an upset in the frontrunners for this presidential campaign. Not my favorite thing to report on, because while I give you my opinion for free and my bias comes on the side with these lunch bites, I leave my political opinions in the kitchen. However, it is interesting to see the updates and see what's happening, what's going on. Go Ted. We have a Ted supporter here, it looks like. I just like to see what you guys support. I like to see what's happening and take the journey with you guys. For headline number 4, we're going to go to an A-lister and something that I have found extremely interesting. Hey, thanks for joining us. We're on headline number 4. A-lister Amy Schumer has called out Glamour. Now, Glamour is a big magazine. Even guys know it to be the ladies' magazine of choice sometimes. But she has called them out for including her in a list of plus-size women. If you've ever seen a picture of her, you know this makes absolutely no sense because she wears a size 6. Thank you so much, ChelseaRoadman, for sharing me on Twitter and inviting her followers. A reminder to you guys, if you're watching this right now and you want your followers to be updated on the news, please swipe right if you're on iOS and up or down if you are on Android. Please invite those followers and make sure you're following me yourself. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Katie. Thank you to everyone who's inviting followers. I've got lipstick in my teeth, y'all. I give you news and I keep it real. How about that? Thank you so much for the hearts, too. I love you guys. You're awesome. All right, so let's find out about this, about her being a size 6 and in the plus size category. This is what her quote was, and it was on an Instagram post. She said, quote, "I think there's nothing wrong with being plus size. Beautiful, healthy women. Plus size is considered size 16 in America. She says, go between a size 6 and an 8. We women vacillate between sizes, men. Every woman knows that. We have at least 2 sizes in our closet, if not more." She shouted out Glamour by tagging them, saying, "At Glamour Mag, put me in their plus size only issue without asking me or even letting me know. And it doesn't feel right to me." That's what she put in an Instagram post on Tuesday morning. So that was yesterday morning. Now, you guys, in the high fashion world, unfortunately, plus size can start at a size 6 or even sometimes a 4. But usually size 6 or 8, especially an 8, that's going to be plus size in the high fashion modeling world, which is incredibly insane, depressing, and yeah. So, but in the average consumer merchandise world, yes, it starts at a size 16, and I'm not sure if maybe they saw her size 6 and thought there was a 1 before it. I don't know, but I also think it's a shame that they did not at least let her know. It would be weird to be a celebrity and be flipping through your favorite magazine and see your face. Hi, me! And then realize, oh wait, I'm not a size 16. This is wrong. So it'd be interesting to see if Glamour issues an apology or if we see some follow-up news from that. Headline number 5, cha-ching! We are talking about some money, y'all. We are talking about some wedding money. This is interesting. The average U.S. couple spends an estimated $32,641 to get married. You heard me right, guys. That's rounded to $33,000 to get married. Think of all the things you could do for $33,000. Yes, Marilyn Monroe was a size 18. Reportedly, sizes have changed since she was of fame. However, not enough to say that she was, you know, your typical runway model now. So she would be considered plus size, I think modern day a size 12. So absolutely, to get married. Anyway, that figure is $5,500 more than 5 years ago. So that, guys, that averages out to $1,100 more every year. So every year that you singles are not getting married, I hope you're putting $1,100 more in your savings account. Because by these statistics, that's what it's looking like. So every New Year's, I hope that your resolution is to save up another $1,100 because looks like you're gonna need it. So the study goes on. It's a little interesting. The Knot reported they broke down the most expensive cities for weddings, and there's no surprise here. It was Manhattan. They took the cake. The average New York City couple dropped a whopping, get this figure, $82,299. $82,000 on their nuptials. Guys, $82,000 to say, I love you too, I want to spend the rest of my life with you, me too, I do, mwah, ta-da! $82,000 on their nuptials, which is nearly $50,000 more than the national average and about $20,000 more than the next city on the list, which is Chicago, where the average price tag clocks in at about $61,000. Still, $61,000, you could put down payments on your first home, you could do all these kinds of things, and I have this sneaking suspicion that they're not including the price of the dress, because a lot of these weddings in New York, the women are spending that much on the dress. I mean, have you seen the TLC show, like, Say Yes to the Dress? Panina Tornay dresses are gorgeous, and around $100,000 sometimes. Or more. I don't know. The girl can design a gorgeous dress, but you're gonna wear it once. Let's elope, right? Wear a pretty dress and elope. My mom is reporting that her wedding was a total of $2,000, including her dress. So including her dress, it was $2,000 for the wedding, the reception, everything. Now, guys, I think that is a lot more palatable and understandable. They had over 300 guests. Woo, not 3,000. They had over 300 guests. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people to feed. So $2,000, I think, is extremely palatable, especially considering the numbers I was just reading. And especially if every New Year's they tucked away $1,100 in their pockets, because that's how much it's going up every year. See, it's expensive to get married older. Us millennials are having troubles, okay? All right, we're going to move on to headline number 6. My dress was $250, and her husband was blown away when he saw her. That's the thing, guys. If you're going to marry him, you should be able to come out in like a paper sack and he just be blown away that this is the woman he's going to marry. So don't think it has to be the best dress in the world. And don't dress to impress your guests. They're there to support you. And if they're not, don't invite them. Easy. Don't have to feed them afterwards. Less money. Alright, we're moving on to number 6, you guys. Now, this is a little unfortunate. Actually, very unfortunate. Something I was very displeased to read. Something I didn't want to report, but something that needs to be brought to light. Okay? You guys, my eye is watering. You see that? My eyeshadow is going everywhere. I'm just keeping it real. Allergy season, high. Okay? There's your weather report. If you're in the Tennessee Valley, weather and allergies are high. Make sure to take your allergy medication or you're going to start sounding like me. Anyway, back to today's headlines. Back to you, Chelsea. Okay, back to me. Alright, I just had a total conversation with myself. Anyway, number 6. Alright, this is, like I said, very disheartening to read. It says, try again. And it's true. Many medical students, these are medical students, okay, still believe myths about Black patients' health. That's of African American descent, Black patients' health, including the myth that they feel less pain. Guys, why are we in 2016 and still talking about this, okay? In the first experiment, the researchers asked 121 white people the extent to which they believed a few totally false, let's get that straight off the bat, totally false statements about biological racial differences. For instance, many of them reported believing that Black people age more slowly than white people. Okay, I gotta make a side note here. Black don't crack. Okay, y'all? That's a thing. And I don't mean that racially. That's a compliment. Y'all, there's something about African American skin. It doesn't wrinkle like Caucasian skin. I'm jealous. That's awesome. I mean, woohoo for them. So maybe that's why they get that impression, because they only look skin deep. But these were medical students that were thinking this, and this disturbs me. All right, so that's the first lie, myth that they thought. The second one, black people have thicker skin than white people. That's not emotionally, that's literally thicker skin than white people. And the third thing is that black people's, oops, sorry. I just hurt your ears by hitting the microphone. They hurt and bleed just like us. I know it. This is why this piece of news, as I said at the top, was so disturbing to me that I felt it really needed to be brought to light. The third thing was that they thought black people's nerve endings were less sensitive than white people's. So like it said at the top, it was less, they felt less pain. Guys, that is not true. None of that is true. And it's so disturbing to me that in 2016, we still have medical students who have medical books in their hands reading it. All true. No, not true, guys. Doesn't matter the color of your skin. Red, yellow, black, or white. Indian, Asian, Pacific, or whatever you are, American mutt, that's what I am, whatever you are, you know, pain is pain, blood comes out and it hurts, and it blows my mind, you know, we age, you know, some people more gracefully than others, even within the same race, not even comparing races. They run faster. Maybe that's because they're motivated. Their skin may be a different color. That's all. Yeah, exactly. We all bleed red. You know, one thing I think sometimes is they say that maybe a certain race is better at something else. And, you know, I heard an actor, because there was a big uproar at the Academy Awards this year that there were no black actors up as nominees for any awards. And one of the things that I think it was Chris Rock hosted, and he said, you know what, though, black actors, they were talking about discrimination in Hollywood, and he was saying, you know, on one hand, there's no discrimination, but on the other hand, even if there is, you have to, if you're black or white, you have to work hard. You have to work just as hard if you're black and just as hard if you're white for the same role. Even if the role is meant for a black person, you have to work just as hard. And sometimes I wonder if they don't have to work harder to break the stereotypes. And when you're forced to work harder, it makes you better. And so sometimes you mentioned they're better runners. Maybe you were talking about the Olympics or something like that. Maybe they are forced to work harder to get onto that team, to get onto that whatever it is. And because they're forced to work harder, they're better. And if we, as the people of privilege, I say that as a Caucasian, blonde-haired, blue-eyed American mutt, if I would push myself harder, maybe I would be better too. Okay? So I can't look at them and say, oh, they're privileged because they're better dancers, street dancers. They can no, they're better at that because that's what they were shunned to the streets to occupy themselves, and that's what they came up with, which is pretty resilient in my opinion. And it's amazing what they came up with. The way they can move their bodies and break dance and all this stuff, whereas we are in studios doing ballet and all this stuff, which is awesome and beautiful and wonderful, but that's why they can do that. They were pushed. So if anyone in a state that is of any privilege, whether you recognize it or not, if you will stop putting yourself on a high horse and push yourself the way they've had to push themselves, you might be amazing and great in a way that you never thought you could be. And I think it would be very humbling, and they would be so grateful to see that we are no better than them. And how dare we ever think that we are better than them? It's just, I'm so passionate about that. And that story really, their heads are harder. Their heads are not harder. They're stubborn because they have to be. A lot of them, they have to live on the streets? A lot of them? They have to be street savvy and street smart, and they have to be ready at all times to defend themselves. Things I would never know how to do, ever. I could learn so much from them, not run away from them, not judge them. And that's a message I desperately wish would really get out there into the world. No, I don't think scientifically their heads are actually harder. I think that's another myth. And when we say black, it used to be politically correct to call them African American. However, even though I do that sometimes, I am at fault. That is not always correct, because that means that because of their black skin color, that I'm assuming that their descent, their heritage is actually from Africa blended with America. Well, there's people from Jamaica that have come up here in America and are, fourth generation, whatever, and their skin may be black too, but they're Jamaican. I could go down the list of all kinds of things. Their lips are bigger. Sometimes, guys, we have to realize black is only a skin color. It's not an origin. It's not where you were born. Yeah, sometimes they have a stereotype of having bigger lips, but that's only a certain descent, a certain sort of like Caucasians, in America. Like if you are from the South, your skin is known to look a little different than if you're from the middle of the country, from the Midwest. Just different things like that. And it's just really a passion of mine that people understand that they are people beyond their color. That is a stereotype. Again, stereotype. And I've had a lot of friends of a black skin color that will tell you, just honest, stereotype that the media and social media and immature people like to play on. And maybe I shouldn't say immature, that's harsh. Maybe I should say uneducated, or just if you just don't know, naivety, different gene pools. So I'm going to move on from that, but that really disturbed me that in 2016 that our medical students are still thinking about that. So that was really important, that no matter where this broadcast goes, that message goes along with it. So I'm going to move on, guys. This is a more lighthearted topic. It's a bit of a PR stunt, but a fun one. It is, let's see, Kanya, has confirmed the numerous rumors of her engagement to Rob Kardashian. She shared a video of the ring on Instagram and wrote, quote, "I'm so blessed and honored to have a good man in my life. I love you at Rob Kardashian, exclamation point, hashtag 7 carats, hashtag VVS, at Ben Baller," and that's the jeweler who made the ring. Ben Yang, also known as Ben Baller, posted a message to the couple as well. PR, no, we're talking about public relations. Congrats, he said, to both. He tagged the couple on getting engaged. So that was just a little fun news right there for celebrities. And we are on to our last headline. This is I love Tech Talk, you guys. It's my favorite. And it's one of Apple's new features that even if you don't have the brand new iPhones, you can upgrade to the latest iOS and you will have this feature. I love it when they include the older phones too in these new features. So let's move on to the last headline and my favorite, Tech Talk. All right, you guys, Apple's new color shifting screen feature may help you fall asleep. I can attest to this being true, and I'm a crazy insomniac. Let me tell you about it. It's called Night Shift. It's a new feature that uses your iPhone or iPad's clock and geolocation to find out when the sunset will occur wherever you are. It then shifts the colors in your display to warmer shades, including yellows and oranges, instead of that penetrating cool blue light, and then the colors automatically readjust in the morning. And so what happens, you can just set it manually too, but what I have it set is by the sunset. So even when the time changes, it'll do it automatically. Hey, thanks for joining us. We're on our last headline right now about the really great setting of Night Shift for the Apple update, and it's really great. So when I go to bed, I often, will be checking on some things. A lot of times, a lot of us fall asleep on our phones, like, not gonna lie. I've fallen asleep and dropped it on my face. It's happened to me, yeah. I'm Chelsea Roadman and I'm guilty of that. So, it's all in your head. It does nothing to help you, give you eye strain. Actually, I have to object with you, sleepwalker. There is a ton of scientific study about that cool blue light being a problem for sleep. I was talking to a friend of mine on the app Anchor.fm. If you don't have it and you have an iOS device, you should definitely go check it out. But I had insomnia really bad. I have it really badly, and one night I couldn't sleep, and I was talking to some people on there, and he recommended these glasses you put on, and it takes out every bit of blue it can take out in your room, in your presence, and helps you sleep. There's a lot of scientific study about how bad that is for your sleep cycles. That is a fact. However, I do like to keep this PG, so let's be careful on those comments, sleepwalker. So that is really cool that the iPhone has realized this, because I know that I'll think, oh, I'll fall asleep, and then I just get really interested in whatever I'm looking at, and it's 4 o'clock in the morning. But this really does help. I have tried it out for the past, I believe, maybe 3 to 5 days, however long it's been out. I did the update immediately, and the San Bernardino case taught me to do that, as I have shared with you guys, and it really does work. That cool blue light, you would be surprised how much it does affect you, and after a while you don't even notice the color is warmer, and it does. It starts making your eyes, you know, a little sleepier, and it's perfect for helping you fall asleep while doing whatever last minute things you wanted to do on your phone. So, thank you guys so much for joining me for today's edition of Lunch Bites. It is Wednesday, April 6th, and I enjoyed sharing them with you. I'm so glad you all joined me. I hope you join me tomorrow, too, for Thursday, April 7th's Top 8 Headlines, thanks to Refinery 29 again. And I will be sharing with you some more very interesting things that they have to say. I look forward to talking with you. I'm about to go do my Alpha Bites challenge, so I hope you join me on that on Snapchat and Instagram as well. You guys make the best of your Wednesday. Have a great one, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.